Hey everybody, Nick Licameli here. Today, this video comes at perfect timing since everyone is pretty much done traveling at this point after the holidays and won't be traveling for quite some time because no one has any more money, no one has any more time off from work, and no one wants to eat or drink anymore. But this video is about training while traveling at something like a hotel gym when equipment and resources may be limited. So I'm sorry because I know this video probably would have helped before the holidays and before the traveling season, but next time you travel, you can keep these tips in mind. Now this video is about training while traveling. I'm going to do another video about nutrition when traveling, but today we're going to focus on training. This particular workout, I was in a hotel gym. Now granted, the hotel gym was pretty darn good for a hotel gym. I've worked out in other hotel gyms that weren't quite as good as this one. This one had quite a bit of equipment, but you could still take some of the concepts and ideas that I'm going to share with you into your situation that you happen to be in. So this particular workout, I planned on training legs. So my plan was some kind of squat movement, some kind of hip hinge movement, some kind of glute dominant movement, a quad dominant movement, and then an isolated leg extension and leg curl. So usually I would do a barbell back squat, I would do a Romanian deadlift with a barbell, or a glute ham raise. I would do a hip thrust for the glute dominant movement, I would do a hack squat or a leg press for the quad dominant movement, and then I would do a leg extension and leg curl for those isolation movements. So this gym didn't have all the equipment that I would need to do all those exercises. So I'm going to show you some modifications and exercises to kind of swap in and swap out to still hit your training goals. Now if you're on a strict training routine, is this going to be as optimal? Probably not, but I would say it's better to modify your training when possible rather than skip it altogether. So I hope this helps. Let's take a look. So here we are in beautiful San Diego. I'm going to stop right there because otherwise this video would just be a bunch of Anchorman quotes. So the first exercise I would normally do in my leg training is a barbell squat. So what I did as an alternative is a weighted jump squat. However, because the dumbbells only went up to about 50 pounds, it wasn't really enough weight for me to feel fatigue with straight goblet squats, so I added in a jump, and I'm going to do an extended set here where now I'm going to get rid of the jump and go down into a squat. Okay, so now I'm stronger and I can handle more just by squatting without jumping. So I lost the jump. And we're going to do this to about failure. And as we reach failure with this squat, then we're going to drop the weight and just do a body weight squat. Now, we're reaching failure and going beyond failure. And under normal circumstances, I would say avoid, kind of going balls to the wall like that and doing extended sets and drop sets and rest pauses and mechanical drop sets. But because we're dealing with less weight and I can't really get the volume per se in, I want to get the intensity in. So I'm going to tap into some of that metabolic stress. So here I'm going to do an unweighted jump squat down to a body weight squat. And let me tell you something, my legs were burning after this. The next exercise that I would typically do is some sort of hip hinge. So usually I would do a barbell Romanian deadlift. Here I am just using the dumbbells. So now again, the dumbbells only went up to about 50 pounds. And for Romanian deadlift, 50 pounds isn't all that much. So what I tried to do here was slow down the eccentric just a little bit. And that would kind of cause me to get to fatigue with that lighter weight faster than I would if I were to just do them normally. Now I don't descend that much slower when I use a barbell, but that was the idea behind these sets. Typically my next exercise will be some sort of glute dominant exercise. So usually I prefer the hip thrust. I could have done the hip thrust here, put some dumbbells on my hips and use that bench just like a barbell hip thrust. But today I decided to do a rear foot elevated split squat or a Bulgarian split squat. Now this exercise I feel you can do either glute dominant or quad dominant. The way you can make it more glute dominant, now I don't know EMG studies to support this, but that mind-muscle connection, I really feel like you can kind of shift where the focus of the exercise is by adjusting your mind, what you're focusing on, as well as adjusting your body slightly. So to make this exercise more glute dominant, I'm allowing my lower back to kind of arch at the bottom, not hard, but going to a little bit of a lordosis. That's going to put the glutes on stretch as they're going down into that eccentric. So that bottom position, I'm really stretching the glutes from both sides and then exploding up and squeezing at the top. To make this more quad dominant, you kind of shift your weight more forward and really just focus on extending that knee, almost like a closed chain knee extension. Up next is my quad dominant movement. So this movement typically is either a hack squat or a leg press for me. Because I didn't have either of those, I kind of made up my own little hack squat here. So I'm going to hold those dumbbells in each hand and I have the ball against the wall. And as I squat down, you can see that this motion and this movement is pretty darn similar to a hack squat. My back is supported, so what this movement does is it allows me to really focus on the quads because I'm kind of just extending my knee into the floor and causing my body to raise up. So that closed chain knee extension that I mentioned in the split squat. So I'm kind of taking out the need to balance my weight on my feet and just focusing on pushing and extending up with my quads. So if the ball were kicked out from under me, I would fall backward. So as I reached failure holding the dumbbells, I just simply drop the weight and I'm going into a drop set here. Up next for me would usually be some sort of isolated leg extension and leg curl. Now I was very fortunate that this gym had an actual leg extension machine and leg curl machine. So I just took advantage of the fact that it was here and used it as I normally would in my typical training at home. I thought this was a really cool contraption here. I've never seen that before. I thought it was really cool how it just kind of transitioned like that right into a leg curl from a leg extension. So anyone that knows me knows that I love the triple threat for glute, ham, and overall core strength and stability. So if for some reason the gym didn't have a leg curl machine, this is one alternative that I would have used if I couldn't do the leg curl machine. Sometimes I choose to do this even when a leg curl machine is around just because I like it so much. But here is another alternative in case you find yourself somewhere without a leg curl machine. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want, and we'll see you next time.